Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to 9-9 Nation. Looks like that name is going to stick. I'm Evan, coming to you from the 9-9 headquarters in beautiful Bingham Farms, Michigan. With us on the podcast today are Jackie and Trevor.
What's up, y'all?
Jackie, why don't you share with the group a little bit about yourself?
My name is Jackie Moynette, formerly known as Jackie D'Amico. I am in our company directory as Jackie D'Amico. I started with 9-9, back in like 2009 in the New Faces department. I moved my way up to TCS, kind of pivoted, and I am now in graphic design here at 9-9.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, probably will. My name is Trevor. Some people call me Trevor Button-Bozen.
That's your own doing.
Don't
act like it's an accident.
It wasn't my own doing. It might have been a mistake from the guy or me mishearing it. But anyways, I've been with 9-9 for about 11 years now. And I started with New Faces and then slowly moved my way up from doing a little bit of SEO, and now I do IT around here. So.
And for those not familiar, New Faces is actually the department that deals with new faces, people who've applied to 9-9 and scheduling them to come into an open call generally at one of our locations.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, great. So on our first podcast, and this is number 2, we talked a little bit about some celebrity news. Today we're going to switch it up a little bit, stay a little bit away from the celebrity, see where it goes, but talk more about some kind of general points and things that we find interesting or kind of relevant, at least to the group that is involved today. So the first one that I wanted to bring up and have a discussion on was something that actually came from a conversation I had yesterday with a friend of mine down in Florida. And we were talking about some things that they're getting into from a business perspective. And the conversation got up because it occurred to me as he was talking about doing all these different things and being involved in all these different activities. And I literally asked him, I said, what is your motivation? Like, why are you, he's almost spreading himself a little too thin in my opinion. But it was like, what's your motivation to be doing this? And it occurred to me, like, everybody's a little bit different, right?
Sure.
And that people have different motivations for things they want or things they need. People have motivations for things that make them happy or things that give them, off the charts, whatever we want to call it.
Just to keep them busy sometimes.
Sometimes it's just to keep busy. So I think from a business perspective and work, it's easy to say, hey, what's your motivation? And most people will kind of fall back on bills and things like
Right.
that.
A new hot
My
tub?
mortgage.
A new hot tub, right? So as you all have a really diverse group of friends and coworkers and just people you've been able to interact with over the years. And like you said, you've been here since 2009. Trevor, you've been with part of the 9-9 family since
Probably 09 or so. 08.
No, before
more
that,
like
I think you were
05
like
for you.
07 or 08. You're at least past year 11.
Yeah, you were a little bit after me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And myself, I started in 2005. So
Yeah.
being able to get to interact with a lot of different individuals, so really, like, for you all, and we'll branch it off from there, like, what is your motivation, whether it's coming to work or just generally living your life? Like, not necessarily who do you do it for, but what do you do it for? And maybe it's a who.
That's a little bit of both for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. My wife, Sarah, she keeps me... She's the one that kind of lines me up, like tells me this is what we need to do. She sets goals, and I'm
That's
not.
better
I'm
put
not,
than she
I'm
lines
not,
me
I'm
up.
not. I'm not a goal. I'm not a goal person.
Yeah.
So she sets them out, and then we just it kind of feels good, to
But
get
what's a
stuff
goal?
accomplished.
Like
random stuff around the house, and then
is it a task?
It's tasks.
Okay.
It's it's getting
Saving money for a hot
saving
tub?
money for a hot tub or whatever the case. It's just random goals that she kind of puts out there for me, and I like it. It keeps me in line.
So she's your
Almost.
motivation.
Yeah.
In both ways.
Yeah, her, and then the fact that who wants to sit home and do nothing?
Yeah.
You can always sit home for a little bit, but you can sit a week maybe if that, and then after that you're like, all right, what do I do now? Because you even go outside and there's like no traffic during it. Like everybody's at work.
Yeah.
I feel like you take a day off and it's like you go for a drive and there's no cars and you're like, oh, where's everybody else? Like, oh, they're at work, and you kind of feel like you're missing out. Like, am I missing out at work? Like, am I doing something wrong by taking a day off when everybody else is working?
Yeah, it's always funny. I remember where I got the saying from. Somebody told it to me one time, or maybe I read it, and it's just kind of the ideology that, like, people who like it. I find it to be harder work to do nothing than to actually do something.
Because you spend a ton of money. You go outside and you wake up in the morning. All right, I got to make breakfast. So you make breakfast, and you get bored. And you're like, all right, what do I do?
Even
Do
just
I
in
go
an
to the
office
store and
setting.
spend money?
Like I mean, to actually sit there and do nothing. Like, how hard is that?
Boring.
Boring for
Yeah.
most people, right?
There's only so much Facebook you can look at.
Well, I guess I could. What's your yeah.
Well, I think with both of
Telling your age.
those, happiness comes into play, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I know for you it does.
if
big time.
if you're sitting there at home and you're not happy, of course you're not motivated. You know, it's. I think if you are pursuing something and you're happy with it and you're getting enjoyment out of it, whether that's working hard, accomplishing your goals, whatever it may be, happiness is in the
I think
forefront.
that's the biggest thing is go like just random stuff around the house, you know, or whatever. If you want to buy something for yourself, or for I have an example, you know, working for his daughters, you know, he's
sure.
getting her a new
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you got
Not
no,
paying.
you're not paying for it,
Right,
but
right.
but you're still gonna
But doing the
help,
work-
help her out.
doing the
Let's
work
say if
for
she
her.
can't make a payment or something, you're not gonna be like, all right, you're on your own.
We'll see. We'll see. You know, to me, it always, for motivation, because, yeah, whether it's doing things around the house, whether it's doing something to be happy, I don't know. I guess it always falls back to, like, you're either doing it for someone who could be yourself,
Right.
right? Or you're doing
Yeah.
it for money.
I mean, you should be doing it for yourself.
You should
right?
be doing it for yourself, yeah. But then
But okay, so let's take somebody who comes in to a business in whatever city and whatever industry, who walks in and day out. They don't love it. They, they go through the motions, and you almost think back to, like, what was the movie Office Space? Do you remember that
Yeah.
one?
I never
Where-
watched it.
Oh, you should. It's a
know.
great film, especially if you've worked in a corporate environment. But where he sits down with the Bobs and he kind of goes through his whole day, and he says, I think at the end of the day, I maybe do 15 minutes of actual real work in a week. And because it's something like that. And it was like, okay, so, like, what is that person being motivated by? You know, they're not doing it for themselves, really, right?
no, they're
Right.
just going for
Not doing it for happiness.
It's probably a paycheck.
So the paycheck,
Yeah,
right?
of
And maybe
course.
that's the sad part. Maybe if it's somebody who's not motivated for themselves,
But I feel like you can't. I mean, for a paycheck, you can do it, but after a while, it would just get
it shows.
it shows, and it would just get repetitive. Like you're just down. You're gonna be at work and or wherever you are, and it's like, all right, people are gonna see right through it. I think because you're just sitting there and just kind of mopey. I feel like
I would
you're not
think.
like you're just kind of like, and it would show like you're just not
I
doing
think it
it.
does
You're just kinda
translate into your
sitting
work.
around looking like a bump on a log, and just kind of everybody's gonna notice like.
Well, not even
something's
that,
not
but
right with this dude.
probably in the quality of your work or the timeliness of your deadlines or what have you. I mean, I'm
Quality,
sure it's
you would
going to
think,
show.
for sure,
Quality,
right?
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
If you don't like what you're doing, the quality, the
you can only fake it so long.
Yeah, the passion's not there.
That's true.
Fake it till you make it, they say.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's harder to fake it than
You might not be paying.
people might have the ability to do. Sorry, I was told not to bang on the desk. But I found some amusement with that, so I apologize, everybody, if it sounded like we just
probably did.
had two cannons go off in the room here.
Rock the world.
we could go louder. Yeah, as I was, talking to my friend in Orlando with him, and he travels quite a bit. It was really more about himself and wanting
Yeah.
to be happy. And I think that if people can get to where their motivation is somehow for somebody they love or for themselves, I think that will push people to a higher level. It's kind of
Right.
that if you do what you love, or if you love who you're doing it for, kind of thing. And it can't even be like coming into work. You just love the place.
Right.
You could love the people that you work
It
with.
gets you away from home.
It does do
Environment.
It
that.
gets you away, like something you got after work. I come home and just watch TV. This is kind of something
Anything interesting you watched lately?
No, not $1 million or $1 billion something.
$1 billion?
Yeah. it's
Oh,
the
so
g-
Home and Garden TV.
No,
somebody-
no.
You're
No,
watching.
it's a dude.
You're watching
It's
somebody
it's
buying
some
a
guy
house.
that's a billionaire, and they let him go on the streets of Erie, Pennsylvania, and he has to start a
Oh, you're
business
still
with
watching that?
$100. It was another episode was yesterday. It's actually pretty good.
Really?
It's entertaining. The guy is up to, I think he's made $5,000 now.
Started with 100. He's up
So
to
he
5.
started with 100. He spent like 50 on a hotel.
Did he sell the truck?
No, he didn't sell the truck. He found some guy that was looking for used tires on Craigslist, like used like tractor tires, and he found 2 tires, like almost like bulldozer tires, and he sold 2 tires for $1,600.
All right, so this is interesting, right? Because the guy you're talking about, it's a TV show, everybody,
Yeah.
called
$1 billion something.
probably like billionaire
Yeah.
to broke or something like that.
Yeah.
And the premise of the show, and I haven't seen it, Jackie, I don't think you've seen it.
Not at all.
And probably won't.
It's actually
On
pretty
whatever
entertaining.
it's on, whether it's on a channel or streaming.
Discovery or History.
Okay.
One of those two.
So maybe we'll see it. So the idea behind it is that this billionaire is placed in a location
Yep, Erie, Pennsylvania.
in this beautiful Erie, Pennsylvania,
In
home
February.
home to Brennan Cooper, our office director in Atlanta. Fun fact, and the band Live, and probably other bands
I
too,
don't
but
know
I only
Live
know
is.
of Live.
Okay.
Lightning Crashes.
Nope.
Their first album, Mental Jewelry, was really good.
Nope.
Okay. And I say album because I have the tape.
8-track.
Okay, after 8-track, not that old. But so the idea is that he's placed into this, or this billionaire's placed into location, given a
Pickup truck.
smaller amount of money, in this case
And
$100,
$100,
and a form of transportation that's pretty beat up and run down. And that's it.
That's
Clothes on his back.
Yep.
Right? And the goal is to turn the $100
to turn into $1 million business in 90 days.
$1 million business in
Yes,
90 days.
correct.
All right, so what's the motivation there?
Yeah, really.
I'm not really sure. I mean, he wants to. I guess I am sure he wants to prove that the American dream is still alive, and anybody with $100
Wow.
in their pocket can build a business from the ground up.
Okay.
So
his motivation's a cause.
correct.
Yeah.
And then at
Right?
the end
That's
of the
kinda
90
awesome.
days, he's gonna give the business away to the people that these kind of that are
Kinda
helping
helping
him with it.
support
Yeah,
him.
because he's got
But don't know it.
he hired. They don't know. He hired a couple guys. Said, look, we're starting this for free, and then they're kind of helping him with the whole cause.
Wow.
So like I said, he found his biggest thing is don't look for no, I'm sorry. He said find a buyer first before you have a product. So he went on Craigslist and a guy was looking for wrought iron fences and tires. So he ended up finding some tires, sold those tires for $1,600. Now his goal is to make
That's a lot of
$10,000.
tires, I have a feeling.
Yeah,
Sounds
really.
more
No, it was
than-
only 2 tires.
What's he selling?
Like
Oh,
it was
okay.
like a bulldozer,
I
like
messed
a, like
up.
a,
Oh,
you know those
okay.
big,
Big
tires.
construction
Yeah,
tires.
it's like the tires like probably like
The
this
kind that
big.
you flip over when you're doing
Correct.
CrossFit.
Correct. So he found 2 of those and he sold them for
That's the best way I
$1,600.
can-
No wonder they sold.
Well, we kind of didn't mention that then, okay? So, I mean, we talked about motivation. I mean, if money or happiness or whatever, but like to do it for a cause. And
Yeah,
there's
he
a-
wants to
especially in
prove-
today's
Great.
society, as dreadful as certain things are, there are so many great causes out there that you
Right.
do hear stories about.
Correct.
People wanting to be involved in or getting involved or just launching on their own.
Yeah.
To whether it's foreign based, whether it's U.S. soil based or
Right.
whatnot. So that's another. Yeah, your motivation could literally just be a cause.
Yeah, it seems like a legit show because like I don't know. Now he's bought a car, he flipped a car, then he flipped another car. His goal is to get to like $10,000 so he can he's opening a brewery.
Okay.
So that's where he's going to get.
So
the,
he started like doing market research. It was between a coffee shop, a metal fabricating place, but he figured that's too much startup cost, or a
Gotta
brewery. Not sure how a brewery doesn't have startup costs, but
or time constraints if he's trying to get it done in the 90
that's what he
days.
said.
Yeah, really.
But I guess he's already mentioned that he's gonna find another brewery to partner with somehow that's already kind of started their mash and their whole brewing process because it takes 4 weeks, 2-3 weeks from boiling the hops and
Yeah,
everything else
right.
to ferment the beer.
Now you actually you do, and we're kind of transition. You actually do home brewing.
Yes, yeah. I actually, in my garden, I grow hops. I grow 2 types of hops, Cascade and Centennial. And we take those and break them down, boil them, and we brew our own
I
beer.
just buy hops. I made beer 2 or 3 times with my old man.
I just buy beer.
Probably smarter.
Probably smarter. And,
Yeah, and easier.
And Jackie's, you took home a cucumber, right?
Yep.
Which was delicious.
I'm
by the
waiting
way.
for more tomatoes.
They're
Oh,
coming. They're
That's
coming.
kind of what I'm on the list
Jackie's
for.
garden, for those like Jackie's is a true green thumb. I mean, a gift. The jalapenos, I think you rolled in here with like 2 dozen, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
pretty sure I
haven't
took
tried
23 of them. Oh, they're just hot. The Japanese eggplant, fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a regular eggplant and a Japanese eggplant?
This is going to sound odd, but a regular eggplant is a little bit more seedy and it's bulbous compared to a Japanese eggplant. It's a little bit of a milder taste.
With a little bit of olive oil and some garlic, it's delicious.
Anything with olive oil and garlic is good.
Put it in the oven for 40 minutes.
Or deep fried.
That's
deep
spoken
fried.
like a true
I mean,
Italian.
deep fried anything.
Yeah, no, my garden honestly is very Pinterest worthy. It's gated, so no little critters
What
can
has
get
to be
into
up here in
it.
Michigan because the deer, the squirrels, the anything.
My neighbor just told me yesterday that he spotted a raccoon and warned me to keep my gate closed.
Trash pandas.
A little trash panda in there. So the gate has been shut and there's no tainted vegetables right now, but we do have some more coming, so.
I have basil. That's about it.
Just basil.
Yeah, in a pot. That's
Your
as far-
basil in a pot though was bought at Kroger.
Yes, it was bought at Kroger as a starter.
exactly
Already
what
as
I
a
pictured.
grown
It's all-
plant.
but now it's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like growing
and
off
you
the side.
say you, but you really mean again back to Sarah,
Yeah.
who keeps you on task, and that's your motivation
Correct. I don't eat that much basil. Now
No.
she's trying to put basil on
No.
everything.
because you have it.
Well,
yeah, we
you have
put
a
basil
huge
on
plant.
shrimp yesterday. I mean, it was okay.
It's a stretch.
Tastes
It's a
like
stretch.
basil
Right?
and shrimp.
Right?
Yeah,
It tastes
yeah.
like basil and shrimp and garlic.
So speaking of Sarah, you two actually have something in common. and that is, as they look at each other, because I know
Yeah.
this next topic, you actually met Sarah while working at 9-9.
Yeah, we met. I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe.
She was working here when you started?
She just started like 2 weeks after I'd come in.
No way.
And then we went out a couple times, like as a group with everybody.
Where to? Do you remember?
Oh, who knows?
That-
we used
we
to
were-
go, no,
yeah.
we used to go to Bookies
Bookies.
in Detroit.
Yep.
Where else did we go to? I mean, we went everywhere.
Right.
Like it was a Monday through Monday deal. Like every night,
Monday through Sunday.
we'd get off work and we'd go either somebody's house or a bar.
Yep.
The whole New Faces, well, most of the New Faces team.
Most
Yeah,
of
yeah.
most of it was like Jackie, me, her sister,
Yep.
Sarah. There was a bunch of other people. We would just go out
Mesa.
and hang
Oh,
out.
yeah,
me,
Mesa.
Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how we kind of met.
No, who really asked who out first, though?
She asked me out. I had a
Ooh.
girlfriend at the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to stay like when we first met. I had to stay. You know, MySpace was at the time, right?
Yep,
Maybe
it was MySpace.
So everybody was posting
Wow.
pictures on MySpace, and
So I know it was after 2009. Then,
Yeah,
'cause
it was. It was.
MySpace was dying at that
Yeah.
point, if
Yeah.
not already
or
upside
pictures
down.
in general. I think Facebook had just because you needed a college.
Yeah,
right,
right.
at the time.
A college,
College-
ID.
a
So
college
some
email.
people had. I don't think I had Facebook at the time. I don't remember. And I just had to stay out of pictures. Like I was like, all right, I can't be
Yep.
seen out. Like I was at home.
You couldn't even get his the
Like,
edge of his shoe in
yeah.
the picture because this girlfriend would realize he was out.
Is this the same girlfriend that then, I don't know, there was a year or two ago, I think it was before Jackie came back as a graphic designer, but had tried to friend Trevor.
Yeah, she's still pending on my on my.
Trevor would not
Facebook.
accept it.
I'm not.
She's married. I think she has a
You
child.
left her on
married.
red?
She has
I think
two
two
kids.
children.
Two kids.
Whoa.
I don't know how I feel
What's she
about
trying
it.
to be
Like,
friends
I don't
for?
know. It was really weird. It's still pending on my thing.
It's been pending for years at this
It's been
point.
pending.
Yeah.
No, because I declined it, and then we requested it,
Again.
and then now it just left it
Can't be
pending.
friends with an ex-girlfriend who you were dating at the time you met your wife.
No,
I totally understand.
Yeah, it's a little
I
weird.
just didn't want to even try.
Start that drama?
Try to.
Does
accept.
she know at this point? Does the ex know at this point that you were dating somebody prior to breaking up?
I'm not sure. I truly don't know. I'm sure she did, but I'm not really sure.
I had to remain a
I
mystery.
don't know.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
she's
If you're not going to friend her on Facebook, we'll never know.
Yeah,
she's
right.
she's friends with all my other friends, like common friends. Like my best friend, she's friends
She's friends with your best friend.
Yeah, like on Facebook.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so it's like I'm sure
Still, though, they
don't
didn't
know.
date.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
the odd thing is, well, not odd, I guess, but kind of the cool thing is, you also met your spouse while working here, but he was not in New Faces at the time,
he
like Sarah
was.
was.
Oh, was he?
He was in
started-
New
he
Faces.
started
I
the same way.
wasn't. I was in TCS.
Oh.
And speaking of hiding relationships, we hid it from you.
Yeah.
We just thought, I don't know, it was like.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted the topic. I find it really interesting that you both met, and there's been several relationships, and even a couple in addition to you all that turned into marriage that started at 9-9, which
Yeah.
is really cool. But I don't usually learn about most of them until it's well down the path.
Right.
And at the time, I think Zan, I think he was already transitioned out of New Faces and doing T-Squad at the time when I think I finally learned
No,
something.
I don't think so. I think
he
he
was-
was doing the social media and stuff, wasn't he?
No, I don't think he did that until a little bit later. He was still in New Faces when we actually met. I mean, he coaxed me in with Starbucks.
He asked you out.
Right,
Full on
he did.
courtship, like he
Baby,
went,
please.
Yeah,
Take me.
I think it was more so everyone just kind of saw his style and look and everything, and then they looked at my style and they were like, "Why aren't you guys together?" So,
Didn't you have a boyfriend at the time too?
no, I
He
was
worked there.
She's not
No.
going to say if she did.
No, I know what you're
Oh.
referring to, but no,
Okay.
someone that I had been seeing had worked there previously, but
Yeah.
years had passed since
Oh,
that
okay.
time and everything. So, yeah,
forgot.
once
Right.
he kind of started working and everything, I just bumped into him and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And so it just kind of spiraled from there. But I did say, "Don't tell Evan," and I don't know why.
Oh, why?
I was just I didn't want it to be a big deal around the office.
And it shouldn't be, right? That was one of the things thinking about this topic is within the workplace romance, is it a big deal in today's society or is it not? Because I certainly, for myself and companies I was with early on in my career, I remember having some where you could disclose it. Open knowledge was fine. And some where it was almost you had to announce it because otherwise it was off limits without a supervisor or
Right.
manager being aware.
Right, exactly.
Oh, see, yeah, but see, for Jackie and I, it was okay because it's not okay, but if we would had broken up, then it would be weird, right? Because you're still working with that person,
Right.
Right.
So
And maybe that's why you
on our
report to
part.
management,
Correct.
so to
Yeah.
speak.
Because we didn't have that falling out or breaking up neither. She didn't with Zan, I didn't with Sarah. So
Yep.
it was things were okay, right? Now if let's say we one of us had broken up, then you'd have to work together, and then I think you kind of that
But even in
tension
my
or not
situation,
tension.
like my department was in an entire different part of the office with a door,
That's true.
you
And
You
know.
and Sarah
and-
even were in different parts. I mean,
Yeah, we
but I
were-
think 9-9 too is always kind of fostered more of a family environment. So being able to interact, whether it's outside
Correct,
of work,
outside of
during
work, yeah.
work, in
Right.
a friendly manner
Right.
is it's typical. It'd be really unusual, I think, if it had that. Hey, if you start if you start dating somebody here, make sure you report that to management so that they're aware.
Right.
You know,
right.
but it probably does go back to the whole like. If something happens,
Yeah.
maybe do you report
Yeah.
that you broke up? Like,
Oh, how awkward.
I think people would know. I don't.
but
I don't.
from
I would-
management, heck, you
Yeah.
could hide it. Like you just
I don't think you'd be able to hide it.
'Cause
I
they
think
just
you'd
stop-
hate,
you just see them
you'd,
not
you'd
talking to
hate
each
that
other.
person so much.
Giving
that
cold
they're like,
shoulders.
I'm not really talking to them, and be like, and it would be like a tension. I think people would find out probably within 2 or 3 days. I
even
think
the
it
most
would be-
absent-minded of person can still pick
could
up
still
on death
pick up.
stares.
Yeah,
Right,
I think it
right.
would be. I think people would find out right away. Management would probably find out right away. I think it'd be harder to hide that than the dating part.
Yes, I agree with that.
I just hit it all.
Well, you didn't have the breakup. Well, you might have had the breakup. I don't know.
No.
At some point, it all came back together and worked out. It does from a management. It's always one thing if looking around to the various people and departments, like you see glances and looks, and you're like, and you wonder, like,
Yeah.
could there be something there? Because you know that the environment has created long relationships. I mean, I think both of you are extremely happily married.
Oh yeah.
Give or take a game console here or there, but but it doesn't always work out. Luckily, for both of you, it has, and that's really exciting. And I can't think of really any crash and burns from 9-9 relationships over the years. They've all
I can't either. I can't think of anything that was like they broke up and then
had to be separated.
correct, like
Yeah.
different rooms or anything weird
I would
like
not
that.
want to have that conversation with you. We broke up.
We broke up, so
Can
we
you put
can't
me
really
in this
sit
room?
together.
I can't imagine that conversation.
Right.
I can't
Like,
imagine
what do
having
you
one.
do?
You put your head down and just shake it.
Go talk to Jess.
Go talk to Jess. Yeah.
Get reprimanded.
Go talk to Jess. So it's just one of those things, but it definitely is from a workplace environment. Different environments create different results, and different
Yeah.
environments require different workplace. But I do think when you two were announced as the people who were going to be joining us, family members, as part of the podcast, like you have that thread in common, and it's super cool.
Yeah.
High five.
Woo.
Right on. The next one I want to talk on is a little bit more 9-9 related, but at the same point, I think it's a general just topic, and that is pursuing a passion. We talked a little bit about motivation earlier, and whether that was to be happy for yourself or to make money or for a cause. The different reasons that people get motivated to achieve things. Your wife maybe made you a list. Mine does too. I
Yeah.
totally get it.
That's not.
It's
It's
kind of
not a
nice.
list, but it's nice because you have a.
It's a honey-do list. That's what it's
It's
called.
literally
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And as long as you get it done, you're okay.
Honey-do list.
Honeydew.
She tells you here's what you're supposed to do, and as
that's
long as you
it.
get it done,
as
you're
long
okay.
as you get it done, you're good.
And if you don't,
If you don't,
You don't
you
know,
can
you've
stretch
never-
it out for a little bit longer. and then
hope
you can
she forgets.
My excuse is I'll get it done tomorrow or I'll get it done the next day, and then kind of. And sometimes you hope she forgets, but you have to get some of it done. At least you can't just leave the whole thing not done. Like some things you got to get done.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Sure.
But people who come into 9-9, who walk into an office location, regardless of what city it is, for the very first time, like they've taken certain steps to get to that point. They've filled out a form online, most likely, or at least somehow contacted somebody, new faces, and
Right.
scheduled a day and a time to walk into a place they've never been. Right? They've never been to a 9-9 office. 99.9% of the time. They probably don't have a lot of experience in the industry, maybe a little bit of knowledge. Maybe they have friends who did it, or someone's been telling them they should get into it for acting or modeling, or just to do extra work and be on set because it's cool and fun.
Mm-hmm.
But they're walking into this location for the first time with not a lot of here's what's going to happen for the first minute, for the 5th minute, to the 10th minute. They're essentially pursuing a passion.
Right.
Yeah.
They have an interest, they have a passion, and I say passion because I think it's a really strong word, but at the end of the day, to take as many steps as they are to walk into an unknown,
Yeah.
I think you have to have a passion about
Yeah.
it. And when I was thinking about Jackie, you touched on, that you started in New Faces.
Right.
And you actually left 9-9 for years.
Yeah. About 5 years.
But came back I think a year ago today.
No. Was it?
November.
Okay. A year ago today, minus 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
That explains the 0 days thing. I don't know if you got that this morning.
No, I
Oh yeah, I got the email that said, but it said it's a Jackie. I think it said Jackie D'Amico, 0 years, and I thought, oh, that's really odd.
Yay.
I thought that's really unusual. Maybe that was the original start date.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
I
But
wouldn't-
you left because you went and worked somewhere else, but while doing that, pursued a passion.
Exactly.
That you've come back, and now it's your profession.
Right. And it kind of tied back to that happiness thing where
Yeah, what made you? I mean, how did graphic design? You went to school for it,
Right.
So you paid your way for it.
Yep.
Like what made you just one day have a trigger that's like, I'm going to go do this, or maybe you always knew. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I kind of did always know, and I absolutely kick myself for not doing it earlier.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just think that I was kind of just trying to get a job, trying to get that paycheck, and then I finally looked and said, well, why not do what I love?
But I
Why
feel like you've always
not-
been artsy.
Exactly.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
even from when I met you, like you look like the artsy type. I know it's like
Yeah.
a stereotype, but she looked artsy.
No, that was really
Like,
it.
I picture her
So-
wearing like this
Yeah,
flat brimmed hat.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Like
Yeah,
some scarves.
I have all
yeah.
those things.
Both her and her sister too, but her sister's.
I
a
think more
different
more
field,
Jackie
but,
than Steph.
Well,
but both of you were kind of artsy.
The thing was, though, I had to look at that and be like, okay, what am I good at? What do I enjoy? I enjoy
Did
art.
you actually have like that thought process? Like,
I wrote
okay,
it down.
really?
I wrote down
That's a
what I
lot.
want,
That's-
and
that's
and-
Jackie.
Yeah, and so it kind of tied back to, well, why am I not in graphic design?
Yeah.
And I just called that day to get registered for school, and I made it happen.
Wow.
And now I'm like the happiest I could be in my career, in my role, at my job. Like it's great.
And it translates everywhere, right?
Exactly.
And it's not that you were unhappy at any of the other places
Exactly.
you worked. Right. Let's make sure that's
Exactly.
clear, because I know when I talked to you before you first came back on, it wasn't as though you were sulking or just miserable. Or
Right.
It was almost like you saw an opportunity to put yourself in a situation that actually was something you were passionate about.
Precisely.
That
That was exactly it. And it was, I needed to, just kind of make it happen. So why stay somewhere where I'm unhappy or stay somewhere where I'm not doing what I love?
Yeah.
And I just made that happen. I gave you a call and it made it happen.
Hey, I'm
I
coming
think
back.
it came through Anthony somehow. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I might
I
have
think
reached
it came
out to
through
18.
Anthony. Or maybe not. Oh no, I think Anthony did, and then I texted you.
Yeah. Yeah.
To a phone number I hadn't texted in.
Jackie?
Like,
Did you have your old phone number?
Oh yeah.
It was the same
was like
old phone
6 years,
number.
and I was like,
Because
hey,
you
is this
keep
still
every,
Jackie?
every single phone number possible.
Yes, and this is important, and I don't know where Jackie stands on this, but just because at one point you had an iPhone that didn't have enough memory, doesn't mean that with your new iPhone you should delete every text message, every contact, every phone number that comes in. You may need to pull that stuff back up and
It's
reference
just
it at
weird
some
reaching
point.
out to people from like 7-8 years ago. Like, how do you do it? Like,
Well, it
I
really
can-
worked.
You,
It
based
worked
on
in my
Facebook, you don't.
I know. It's just weird. Like, if you talk to them, like, once a year or once I go, then okay, but I couldn't just pick up the phone and call somebody or text somebody from 5 years ago.
Well, in
What's
my
the point of
scenario,
keeping-
it worked.
What's the worst case? This isn't Jackie?
Yeah. Right.
No, it's-
Sorry, my apologies.
I don't know. I just feel indifferent about
By the
it.
way, and just to sidetrack for a second, did you all hear about this new? And I don't think it's maybe new. I think I saw it on the news maybe 2 weeks ago, and probably from like last week tonight with John Oliver or something like that, where basically it's you take your cell phone number. Then
Oh,
you,
yeah, the number neighbor.
Your number neighbor. Yes.
I
Have you
heard
heard about
about
this?
that.
Yes.
Have you done it?
No.
Okay, so the premise is essentially you take Mark. Okay, so Mark, our videographer, has done it, which we probably should put him on camera and find out what
Probably
happened.
should.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you text the number, like the last number above you and then the
Correct.
last number below you. So if your phone number ends in a 5, you
Oh,
would
I didn't know
text
you
somebody.
text below. I thought it was just up.
Well, I mean, theoretically, aren't they both
Neighbors?
neighbors?
Up and down.
Up and down.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, up and down from somebody who's done it. So you text up and down just to introduce yourself and say, "Hey, I'm your number neighbor."
Yep.
So again, if your number ends in 5, you would text 4 and 6. But all the other whatever it is, 8 or 9
Distant
digits
neighbors.
would be the exact same, just the last one up and
Yeah.
down. You two haven't done it, right?
No, I want
Would
to do
you?
it. I wouldn't mind doing it.
Because what's the worst that happens? The person texts back
I
a guy
saw
or
a
girl and
post.
says, like, leave me alone.
I saw
Yeah,
a post.
which is
a
happening.
guy,
Or they don't say anything.
guy was texting his number neighbor all night, and the guy woke up and said, "Dude, I was sleeping. Can you?" He was like, I guess the guy got drunk and was just like texting him
my
at like 2 a.m. to like 5 a.m. Just kept, "Hey, please answer me. I'm your number neighbor. Hey." And finally in the morning, the guy was like, "Hey, I'm sleeping. I was sleeping. Got to work in the morning. By the way, hey, number neighbor." Like he texted like 15 text messages.
I saw
all
one
night.
where it was the number neighbor ended up being like a 14, 15-year-old, and it was an
Well,
adult.
that's it. Yeah, that could be bad.
That's
right?
an absolute
That's
possibility.
weird, yeah.
So they
It's-
said,
for
"Oh,
sure.
I'm your number neighbor, blah, blah, blah. How old are you?" They replied with their age and everything and said, so you're a 26-year-old doing this number neighbor thing. So a 13-year-old just totally roasted the person that was trying to get a number neighbor.
The one I saw that stood out to me was the person did it, and it was President Obama.
No way.
And he
No.
yes, and he actually replied back.
Wait.
You're kidding me.
Obama did it?
That the number neighbor was President Obama, Barack Obama's number, and he actually texted back. Listen,
That can't be
not everything
real.
you read on the news is true these
Yeah,
I was
days.
gonna say, that
But
can't be real.
With Chris Evans too.
Chris Evans, okay.
I don't know who Chris Evans is.
The Captain America.
Captain America.
Oh. All right, that's better.
Well, I haven't done
I
it, but
just
I
think
also
that-
haven't gotten the text saying, I'm your number neighbor, so I'll just wait for it
But
to
I
come
have a
through.
chance, like, if Bill Clinton or if anybody, like, I don't know, I'd pick a politician because of President Obama, but, like, can you imagine if you're like, hey, I'm your number neighbor, and the person actually texted back, like, oh, hey, it's great to meet you. I'm trying to, I'm going to say the name because it popped in my head and I don't know why. Hey, I'm Goldie Hawn.
Jesus.
I don't know why. I think it's the conversation
I
we had
would
like
love
3
it
weeks
to be
ago
Goldie Hawn.
about Goldie Hawn's kids, Kurt Russell and like their son and daughter, like daughters, right? I think there's two.
right. Sons.
So I don't know. I apologize to Goldie Hawn for bringing that up. Or not, right? So, but it'd be really cool. Now, I don't know how they prove. Like if they said, hey, this is President Obama, I don't know how
Selfie?
you get
FaceTime.
selfie holding a selfie holding a newspaper.
Yeah.
People still do that.
I think it's still too early
FaceTime
to
would
do it.
FaceTime would do it 100%.
Like I still the word's got to spread more because what if you text your number and they're like, what are you talking about? Like I feel like we give another couple more weeks for other people because me and you us seen it, but I don't know if more and more people have caught on.
I would say that in today's society, with how quickly information travels and
Like,
the
I
various
think a
methods,
couple more weeks I would try it because
I
you don't
don't
want to
think
do
so.
it now. That we, what are you talking
People
about?
still do. People are probably like, I'm sorry, what?
I think
Yeah.
either it
And they
hits or it
explain
doesn't.
it. Yeah.
If it gets out there and it's not completely on fire within the first 10 days, I just don't think it ever will be.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
really
Something else is
No,
going to come
that's
along
true.
and replace
Right.
it.
Right.
But
I
not
mean,
social
think
media.
of, it's an awful comparison, but think of like all the various viral dance moves that start. Think back to the Macarena, and then what was the Harlem Shuffle? Like
Yeah.
it just moves on.
Yep.
Right until something fills the void.
The blue dress.
The blue dress.
Oh my gosh.
Or,
That
or
thing was
green, whatever
a
color it
couple-
was.
It was white.
It was white, right?
It was
You're
white
blind
gold.
if you thought that was white.
It was white.
It was blue, dude. It was straight blue.
I'm just saying.
Anyway.
7 years later.
So we're still talking about it. So people coming into 9-9 are walking in the door to pursue a passion. You, from a career move, went and pursued your passion.
Right.
I think that it takes such guts, like really does, to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to go, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a side gig that somebody's doing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a full-time gig that somebody's doing, whether it's just an interest that they want to find out more about. I think like to truly say, what am I passionate
Pick up the
about?
phone or
do
text
anything.
or like,
It can be scary because
yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, one of our talent has actually commented on one of our Instagram posts. He got booked for a gig and everything, so of course he's talking to everybody about it and everything. And someone commented saying, so-and-so, you should really be an actor. And our talent commented and said, all it takes is a leap of faith. And that's really it. Like, you
Yeah.
just have to be willing to take that leap of faith. And sometimes you would regret it more if you don't take that leap of faith or regret the unknown
Yeah.
of could it have worked or
not overcoming that
What
last
if?
obstacle to do it.
yeah, right.
I wonder too, because we've had talent get booked for various gigs across the country,
Right.
and they'll, I don't want to say have a reason or an excuse, whatnot, but they don't always necessarily show up for it. They may have something that came up, and they they let that obstacle kind of get in their way.
Get in the way.
And I to walk in the door and say this is what I want to do, and get signed as a talent with 9-9, and then get an opportunity to go be in a fashion show or go be on set somewhere. It's happening again, right? That still is an unknown. It's still it's like for you, walking to school on the very first day. To get
Like,
up,
what
to
did I
know,
sign up for? What just happened?
What's
Like,
gonna
I went
happen?
from an
Nervous.
went from a phone
yeah.
Like, I was like,
and that's okay, right? Like,
yeah.
like you have to get over that in anything
Yeah,
you
right.
do.
Of course.
And whether it's a passion, whether it's something whether it's something you have to do because you're required to do it, whatever.
Yeah.
But like to then have, I think we always attribute and say, well, why didn't they arrive for that, and say, oh, maybe they just weren't that serious about it in the talent-wise. But sometimes it's just a matter of the passion is there.
Yep.
It's lit, but But man, that last obstacle can be the one that brings you down, and
Yeah.
you've got to look and say, I'd rather go for it and fail, and find out that I wasn't prepared, or find out that it was something I wasn't completely familiar with or expecting, and say that's okay though, and learn
from
than
it.
to not even do it,
Right.
and say I'm passionate about it, or I have a passion for it, and at the end of the day, that's all it's going to be.
Yep.
It's never going to turn into anything more than that. Yeah, it's one of those things that not all of us take the time to really look at and figure out what we're passionate about and what level of involvement that means, and then actually apply ourselves to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if we did, I don't know, maybe we'd be a little bit happier as a society as a whole, a little less focused on stuff.
It gets a little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's true
Like
today.
if you try random stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, do I go with it?
But that
Or not.
nervousness should turn
Yeah.
into excitement. And that's what happened to me. I mean, that it just got
Glee.
exciting to go to school every day. Who would ever say that? But it did. That nervousness definitely translated into excitement, and it kept me going to school every day.
Winning
Perfect
awards.
attendance. That's right.
What'd you win? Perfect attendance and what else?
Highest GPA and
You were that person where they called on stage like every 4 times, the overachiever.
above and beyond the Call of Duty, I believe. So definitely, again, that's that excitement and that's that passion.
Yeah.
I was passionate about what I was doing, so I was able to get all of those awards.
And we probably and maybe next time we'll get Mark on camera to talk about his passion, because he also attended the same school as you
Right.
did.
Yeah.
And also as got the above and beyond.
Yeah, and the perfect attendance and highest GPA.
That's right, Mark.
Jeez,
We got a bunch of overachievers here. What are we doing?
Or at least they're amongst underachievers.
Unless they're passing out to everybody. Are they passing
No.
stuff out to everybody? Like everybody gets
No.
overachiever?
I don't think everybody gets a ribbon at that school.
Okay.
So
That's
which is
correct.
good.
Then we definitely got the overachievers here.
Yeah, it really would. And definitely from anybody watching this who is interested in learning more about 9-9 and potentially becoming assigned talent with 9-9, when you hear from somebody in the New Faces department, or if you have a phone number on our website or a link in the description, like, please reach out. Take at least the first step, and find out what follows your passion, right, and where you have to go to follow that passion. It can be scary. It can be a complete unknown, and there's fear in that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
at the end of the day, it's better to venture down the path and find out that this is what I'm looking at, or this is what is expected, and decide, hey, maybe it's not what I want, or maybe it is, and you get another chance, and just keep overcoming those hurdles, and actually get to where, like you, Jackie, you're fulfilling your passion,
Right.
and it can change your life.
Yeah.
110%.
Absolutely.
So I really, I think we all encourage anybody out there who has an aspiring talent side to them, please make sure that you take the steps with anybody, and find out if this industry is right for you, and follow that passion 110%.
Be a Jackie.
All right, Button. Better than being a button.
That's right.
Maybe on the next podcast we'll talk a little bit about.
Maybe we
maybe
could.
not the next one.
No, we definitely need a break from me for a little bit. Maybe the next couple.
Well, thank you for coming on, Trevor. Thank you for coming on, Jackie.
Absolutely.
This has been another edition of 9-9 Nation. Thank you to everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again next week.
See y'all. Bye.